whole entire music budget of Rocky was $18,000. 18,000, that's all. And I think Conti made 2,000 up front because he did the score, which is brilliant. One of the most, in my mind, and also Guillermo del Toro, who is, the wunderkinder of the director's branch of the Oscars. He told me that it's one of the most brilliant scores he ever heard, and that there will never be a scene as iconic as him running up the whole thing with the meat and the getting up and drinking the egg yolks and running through Philadelphia and climbing the steps. And then you hear Gonna Fly Now, which John Avildsen, the director, was brilliant. He put him in slow motion. And when he lifted his arms, he could do anything. He could win. He could go the distance. He could even fly. The history repeating.
Welcome back to a new episode of History Repeating. Recently, I had the pleasure of speaking with Oscar-nominated songwriter Carol Connors, who's perhaps best known for co-writing the theme to the iconic film Rocky. Gonna Fly Now not only became a hit single, but it's gone on to become one of the most well-known themes in cinematic history. Carol not only helped to write the song, but she also sang on it. So here's Carol to tell you a bit more about the recording process and working with the great composer, Bill Conti.
It's also the pivotal scene of the movie, because I sang on that because we didn't have any money to pay anybody. So I'm one of the voices. And when it fly, 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 way up there, because remember, I could hit high notes. And so we're way up there with, aspirations of anybody can do anything. And then Conti, who's so brilliant, the next scene of the film, if you look at it again, is Rocky being pummeled by Apollo Creed, and the music takes you to the bottom. Ba, 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 ba. It's called the final bell. So he took us from the high to the low, and John Avildsen took us from the high to the low visually. So, I was at the first screening with everybody, and men were screaming. This was a very jaded group of people that had seen every movie, knew everything. And I don't want to use the word jaded. They had seen everything. And women were crying in that scene. And we were all sitting there going, what's going on? But it affected people so much. And supposedly, that's what had happened in theaters around the world.
It's hard to imagine any other song as the theme to Rocky, but originally a different track was used in its place. Carol remembers watching a rough cut of the film, and how Gonna Fly Now was the final piece to the puzzle.
We had been in a what's called a rough cut, meaning you see the film, but there's no sound effects. And if I were to punch you, you wouldn't hear it. You would see me do it, but you wouldn't hear it. There's no, so and there's like temp music, so there's no real music. And it was Bill Conti, myself, Ann Robbins, Chardoff, Winkler, Stallone. We're all there, and the film starts, and there's a song, and it goes. I'll never forget it because I happen to really like it. It goes, he's got a Sunday punch that will put you into Monday. And I said to Bill, well, what do they need us for? That's not bad. And Bill said to me, shut up, Carol. Shut up. And I went, okay. So we watched the film, and this little man stands up at the end of the film. He was best friends with John Avildsen, the director. And he spoke very softly. He said, John, you have a brilliant film. John, you have an Academy Award film. John, and his voice kept going up. John, you're going to get nominated as Best Director, and you're probably going to win it, and the film's going to win Best Film if you do one little thing. And we're all going, what? And Ray Bradbury, his buddy, said, get rid of that blankety blank song, which was a song I liked and was written by Frank Stallone. It's on the album, but it's not the theme. So they came to my house, a bunch of them, and I had a beautiful piano, and Bill Conti sat down at my piano and went. And I thought to myself, what is anybody going to write to that? And everybody left. And I went to take a shower. And Ryan, in those days, you could take your phone into the shower. So all of a sudden, I see the film. I see what I had just watched on the screen, and it's all going through my head. And I went, oh my God. And I picked up the phone because you could bring your phone in. It's not like a cell phone. And I called Bill and I said, Bill, I know what the film's about. I know what life's about. I know what the song's about. And he said, where are you? And I said, I'm in the shower. He said, are you with somebody? I said, Bill, I'm a Scorpio. I have a birthday coming up, by the way. Ryan. I said, I'm in the shower. And he said, give me the line before you electrocute yourself. I went, okay. And I said, the line is gonna fly now. Because at that second in time, he could go the distance. He could win. He could do anything. And it was gonna fly now. When he put his arms up, he was flying. And that's with what I saw in my head and what I was able to put into those words. 3 words. Who knew?
It really, those words added to the song. It really made it into this anthem. I think it wouldn't be the same without those, especially Gonna Fly Now, just that. It's just.
I just want to kiss you forever for saying that. Thank you so much. No, I mean, even Irwin Winkler, who was one of the main producers and has produced, Raging Bull and The Irishman and blah, blah, blah. He said that those 3 words were so iconic to that scene that when we hit that high note of gonna fly, 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 everything exploded because he could fly. He could win. Now, he doesn't win in the first one. You know that. He goes the distance, but he doesn't win. But he gave it his all.
Gonna Fly Now gave Carol her first Oscar nomination. And that feeling when she found out that she was nominated is something that she'll never forget.
Unreal. I was going with David Jansen at the time. And David said to me, he was the fugitive. And David said, you're going to get nominated for an Oscar for Rocky. And I went, are you out of your blank mind? He said, trust me, Carol, you're going to get nominated. His words were true. We did.
And then, of course, you went on to do the themes and songs for many other movies.
Well, my other Oscar nomination, I did Walt Disney's The Rescuers, which so many kids love. And at the time, The Rescuers was the highest grossing animated film of its time at the time. And kids would come up to me and they'd go, RESCUE, rescue ain't so sad. I sang on that one too. I sing on everything. I sing no, I don't sing in the shower. Actually, I don't. It's one place I don't sing.
Carol is a woman of many talents, writing for film scores, hit singles, TV themes, producing, singing, and so much more. And she's still active today. Carol has some exciting new projects planned for 2024, including a book and a new documentary about her life. You have a new documentary that's coming out, and you mentioned a book.
And a book. And another book later on about sayings. I have a thing called CC's Carolisms, and I've been collecting sayings all my life, from all my life. When I was a kid, I would put them on a bulletin board, and I found that as I've gotten older, I've made up my own. Like, here's one of them: to be a success in what you do, you must always follow through. Isn't that a good one?
Yeah.
And the name of that book is called If You Can't Cut the Mustard, Get Off of the Hot Dog. And then the other one is called Elvis, Rocky, and Me, the Carol Connors story. And then it goes on. And the film is also called, the documentary is also called that. And there will be, I think, released the biography by Stephen Bergman. I didn't write, he interviewed me. And the film in April of 2024, God willing.
If Carol only worked on the theme to Rocky, her legacy in pop culture would already be cemented. But she was already a well-established artist before Gonna Fly Now, having written hits in the 60s. But perhaps her greatest success came in 1958, when Carol was just 16 years old. Stay tuned for our next episode with Carol to find out more behind her iconic hit as a teddy bear. Until then, this has been History Repeating.